Hello, it's Kat here from Jolly Jam Journals. Welcome to my channel. I've got a couple of Harry Potter themed junk journals here that I have finished and I wanted to share. I'm really happy with the way these have turned out, and they've been a long time in the planning and creation. I've actually been working, I guess you could say I've been working on them for about the last 9 months. I've certainly been collecting for them for about 9 months, but it was actually Dreamz EtCetera video that inspired me to start making junk journals. When I saw what Jen had done with her Harry Potter journal, her fan art journal, I just wanted one so badly. But here in Australia, postage is just so expensive over in the US, and that's what embarked me on the whole junk journal journey that I went on. Took me about 9 months to finally get around to actually making the Harry Potter junk journal, which is what I wanted to, but I got sidetracked, as we do, and I did other things and did other projects, and I'm pretty glad actually that I waited this amount of time, because I tried a few different things, and I haven't even been doing junk journals for a year and I still found it very confusing. But I would say that doing this, it was huge. It was a huge effort, but I'm glad that I've done it. I've got these to keep, I've got mine to keep, forever. And it's well worth it. And the experience that I've gained leading up to the creation of these has been well worth it. And I'm glad I've waited the amount of time that I did to finally get it done. So here we are. And so I'll talk a little bit about the journal. So this one here is for my stepdaughter, and she's going to be getting this tomorrow. So by the time this video is uploaded, she will have received it. This one is mine, hence the Ravenclaw, because I am in the house of Ravenclaw. I wanted to do a Gryffindor on this one, but I couldn't really get it to fit, so that's why there's no Gryffindor on the front cover of this. So how I've made it is, they're hardcover. I've used, we call it cardboard here in Australia, but it's what in America I guess they call chipboard. And I also made like dragon hide, and I covered it, which is basically like the faux leather, which is made out of glycerine. So it's brown paper crumpled, and then you wet it down with glycerine and water. And I've used StazOn, and I used emerald green and ganache brown, but then I also used some metallic copper buff wax, and I've just sort of gone through on mine. I just experimented and I like that. On this one here, it's a little bit darker. This looked more reptilian, whereas this one was a little bit lighter, and I really like the metallic shades and looks. So I've done the covers, I've done the brickwork. So I did that with texture paste, and I must have used some inks to colour it up. Yes, I think I used the Tim Holtz inks. So if anyone's got any questions on any specific things, just put it in the comments, and I'll certainly answer and let you know how I've done certain things. But yeah, I had a stencil with Harry Potter, and I used that with texture paste, and just some images that I found on Pinterest. So I will probably just do a couple of pages out of this one. They're both the same pages, but there's a couple of different elements in each one, but they're pretty much the same. So I've got some little tabs up here, which are little paper clips. I got these off eBay. This is going to probably be a long video, guys, but I'll make it as short as I can. But I'll just say that I just had an absolute ball making these, and I watched Harry Potter movies as you do whilst I was making these. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So the closure, it's a belt buckle that I made myself. which I was like quite impressed that I actually managed to pull it off. I found the little belt clasp and the buckle bit in Spotlight, and then I was very lucky to go to a leather shop here, wholesaler, and I just explained to him what I wanted, and he said, oh, you just like need a scrap. So he said, I'll go and have a look in the scrap bucket, and he gave me a lovely piece of, and it's quite a huge amount really for what we need for junk journals, and he just gave it to me. So I'll be going back there because it's something I'd like to experiment with is leather covers. So yeah, I cut it down and I sewed it, and to try and get a straight edge, I was quite impressed that I managed it. I had to cut it down because I made it too long, and then I wasn't very happy with the stitching of how I attached these, so I thought about it, what can I do, and then I ended up just cutting another piece of the leather, but the non-suede side, and I stitched them down like that. So in the end I got there. I'm pretty happy with how I did that, and then I put this little charm on here, this little owl delivering mail, which I thought was quite cute. So on this one here, because I wondered about the leather, I ended up, just this fabric that's in the background here, I ended up making a fabric one out of this. So I was very happy with how that worked out. Yeah, I thought it neatened off quite nicely. So that's the closure on that one. So it's a hollow back spine, and my first attempt at making a hollow back spine, and I do like it. Bit more effort, but I think it's well worth it. I put the little ridges in, and then because the paper that I used was in sheets and it had a perforated edge, it sort of started to tear a little bit. So I think it's on there well and truly, and then to cover that up, I used the metallic wax just to give it some highlights, which I think worked quite well anyway. Finished off with some of these book edges, these metal book edges. Yeah, and then I Mod Podged over the top of it. So I'll just open it up. So the inside, I attached the signatures onto some fabric, because I find that when I do card, and then when it closes at this little hinge here, I find that the card tends to crack, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. But then I noticed that some women use material, they use fabric, so I tried that in another journal I did, and I was really happy with that. So I did it again here, and it worked out really well. So I think I'll probably do that moving forward. So this is a Wendy Journal Adventure little fabric pocket, and there's a little charm here. It's actually a little pin that I cut down, and it spells. And then I made, out of the leather strip that I had, I made an elder wand. So I've got my own elder wand, and there's one in here as well, the same. So yeah, the digi prints that I used for this kit, as I said, I got a lot of inspiration from Jen from Dreamz EtCetera, so I'll give credit where credit's due. There's 4 signatures, and it's very chunky. In fact, it's too chunky, and I will not make them so chunky in the future. I just get carried away, and especially with Harry Potter, hey, you could just keep going and going and going. But you can see, look, probably to the person that's made several of these, you'll probably look at it and go, oh gosh, look what you've done. It's my first one. I'm happy with it. It is secure. I don't think it's supposed to be this fat, which is why it flips out like this. And I don't know about this bowing in the middle, but yeah, it's too chunky. There's too much in there, but it's okay. I'm happy with it, and that's really the main thing. So the digi kits that I used, Dreamz EtCetera Wizard World paper packs. I ended up getting all of the paper packs. The ephemera, I got a couple of the ephemera ones, the envelope, and I also got her Grunge Lace digi kit, because I liked some of the plainer journal pages for that. I also used Ivy Shutters, and I also used MyPorchPrints Mysterious Woman journal kit, because I do have some future journals I'm got in the pipeline, and I wanted to use some of those papers out of there. So there's the first page, and it's Dreamz EtCetera, and there's the charm there. So this is probably going to be a long video, so I will try and flip through it without rushing it, but at the same time I'll try not to be too long with it. This is one of the digi prints printed on vellum, and then I tore the edges just to make it look, you know, rugged. This is a envelope pocket. I just got some junk mail that I liked the window in there, so this is, I got this off Pinterest, and this is actually a book page that I got out of a children's book, just, you know, like op shopping finds, and it was an old book falling apart, but you know, I found this page here and I loved it, so I ended up actually just cutting out the owl's head, and then I just used some washi tape. This is some parchment paper. Now I backed it onto some black cardstock, and when I ripped it out the book, so I ended up fussy cutting around to, you know, sort of give that look. I was going to do it with all of them, but I decided no, it's too much effort, and I just didn't worry about that. It's a stamp of a scroll, old scroll there. This is some journal cards from the Dreamz EtCetera. I love ravens. My next journal that I make, which is going to be kind of like my own personal journal, I'm going to put ravens through it. I've just got a thing, it's just started something, this Harry Potter thing. Yeah, and also Game of Thrones, now that Game of Thrones has ended. Yeah, really inspired. So this is a public domain picture, and I got inspiration from Jen at Dreamz EtCetera. Basically, the first signature is very similar to her journal because I just loved it and I wanted to do as much of it as possible. But then it kind of morphed into stuff, and I just, it became my own journal after that. But yeah, so the first signature is roughly based around Jen's. So these are from her kit. It's printed on vellum paper, craft paper. This was inspired from her, the wax seals, some washi. There's my owl stencil, which I absolutely love. Harry Potter, this is just some packaging that we got on some sheets or something. So there's that. Identity card, tea stain paper. I got some die cuts. Harry Potter themes, that's Hogwarts Express. And I love how she does these plastic little pockets in the middle there, so I put those throughout. And this is just one of her pages, which I love, love, love. I love her work. She's just done such an amazing job, and I think she's been very successful with her DigiKit. There's my first little paper clip there. That's Ron Weasley. This is Advanced Potion Making, the textbook. This is the book is the property of the Half-Blood Prince, and you can see his handwriting and his notes on the side there. It's an embossed folder. Did some stenciling and antiques. As I said, I collected for this for so long, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. I think collecting is half the fun, and you know, way too much. I've got a whole box still full of leftover stuff that I didn't even use. That is a free printable. I think it's called SM Tiffany's, or is it Junk Journal Addicts? I've seen that in another video, and yeah, that's where I got that one from. There's another charm there, Harry Potter, the lightning scar that he got, and Luna Lovegood's Spectra specs that she uses to see the rack spurts. This is the envelope from one of the envelopes from her kit. And some stenciling that I did, some stamping. This I got from Pinterest, the Daily Prophet. You can search on Pinterest. There's so much information there. This is vellum, printed on vellum. There's a lot of people that have done amazing stuff, and a lot of it's free printables for birthday parties, invitations, things like that. Just a lot of Harry Potter fans out there, so you'll find a ton of stuff out there. You know, this Marauders map, I found a YouTube video, it had a link and I downloaded it, and I just, you know, cut it all out and glued it all together, and so I made my own Marauders map there. And there's the other bit of the junk mail. This is vellum. Again, just an image I found. This is from Mysterious Woman, one of the journal pages there. This is Ivy Shutters. That's Dreamz EtCetera. It's one of her journal cards there. The Quill Jinx. This is a Mrs. Coggs paperclip, embellished paperclip. I couldn't believe it. She did some Harry Potter themed ones, so, and it was when I was making this. I was so happy. So, and I also got this. I got these keys, this little set of keys, which is exactly the same ones that Elizabeth had in her tutorial. Or was it a tutorial, or she put some photos up on one of the Facebook groups? And yeah, when I got this in the Happy Mail, I'm like, oh yes, I know what I'm going to do with that. So this is printed on some parchment paper. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Yeah, I really enjoyed making these ones. I made 4 in the end, 2 in each. Little glassine bags, another of these little pockets. There's the W for Wizard's World. For in dreams will we enter a world, one that is ours alone. Okay, it's Ivy Shutters, there's Dumbledore paperclip. It's just more from the kit, ephemera piece. I found some cheap embossing folders. I mean, like $2.95 each, and on eBay. And I like this one. I thought it looked like a sparks from a wand. So yeah, I'll put that one in there. These are the 4 houses from Hogwarts, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, and Hufflepuff. Printed on some vellum, and again I tore. That's a lovely owl card that I found, and this is Mrs. Coggs Crafts. I got a digi-kit at some point, her owls, and I think this looks just like Hedwig. And this is something I found op shop hunting, and I absolutely love this. It's a piece of artwork that was, you know, is much bigger, and I shrunk it down on my photocopier and got it to fit A5 size. So I love that. More Ivy Shutters paper, a stack of old books with a wand there. Cornish pixies. I love the Cornish pixies. She calls them the Cornwall pixies. Envelope. I also found a Harry Potter book op shopping, and so yeah, I used some pages in the book. And this is the middle of the second signature with some charms here. This is a little witch on a broomstick, and these are just a whole few little of the spells there. Reducto and a few others on there. Dobby! I love Dobby. And I am going to try, I think this is just a children's colouring in page that I got from Pinterest, and I'm going to try and colour him and do a better job than I did of the other one that I did. Golden Snitch. This is a little postcard I got of Dobby. Blimey, Harry's got himself a rogue blood jar. That's been tampered with, that has. Little glassine bag. This is a bit of a happy accident. I was trying to print and on both sides, and I ended up printing it on Harry's face, but I actually thought it looked quite good, so that stayed. And there's blue unicorn. There's another envelope, Gryffindor paper. This is one of the earlier pages that I decorated, and it kind of, I wasn't really all that happy with it. I liked it, but I sort of felt it missed something. And then I tried, and I put the wax seal in there, the Hogwarts wax seal, and I just thought it finished off lovely. So that's one of the earlier pages, and then I finished it off. So there's a little charm of a werewolf there. Babbity Rabbit. There's a book page there. Draco Malfoy, and it's just got a little bit of information about Quidditch on there. And the 4 houses there. Which house do you cheer for? And there's the mermaid. So these vellum pages I tore. But what I did was I was looking for the Tim Holtz ruler that has got the jagged edge, and I just couldn't find it. And in Australia, I just don't know where you find half these things. But I did come across a YouTube channel called Medieval Mirage, and she's actually in Melbourne. I think pretty sure she's in Melbourne. And she did a tutorial, and in her tutorial, she actually showed how to get a cheap wooden ruler, and then just to get a Stanley knife, and you just kind of flick and you cut and you create this jagged edge. So I ended up not having to buy an expensive Tim Holtz ruler. I did it myself, and it's worked out really good. So that's who she is, Medieval Mirage. And that's how I got that jagged edge there. There's the Basilisk from Chamber of Secrets. I'm pretty sure that's the movie that's from. The envelope, and then another ephemera piece, a little glassine bag, and there's this little pocket cards that I've put in. Ambitious leader, intelligent, determined, prideful. They just fit perfectly in these bags. I was pretty happy about that one. That looks like I may have coffee stained that paper. And I love how when you do these books this style with the hollow back like that, I love how they just lie flat like this, and I mean, I'm pressing quite hard on that, so you could write or draw or whatever, and it's quite strong. It's very sturdy. So yeah, I'll be definitely making more in this style. Fiend Fire. There's some washi tape on the bottom there. Society for the Promotion of Elfish Welfare. Don't know if they talk about that much in the movies. That's more in the book. Or the books. So that's the end of the second signature. Okay, so now we're on to the third signature. And there's Harry Potter paperclip there. Some of these pages, as I said, when I started doing this, you know, at the beginning, which is about 8 or 9 months ago, at the beginning of my junk journal journey, I was trying to print the pages out, and I ended up with like a big stack of pages, and I didn't want to waste them. So, you know, because they printed out and they were, they had the white sides on the other side, I ended up like sticking them together, and then I embellished, well, like I edged them with the lace. And then I made the thicker ones basically the signature covers. So you'll see this one here. That's some paper that I was trying to grunge up, and I was just using the ink sprays, and then I just used the distressing around the edges. So they're a little bit thicker because they're like double-sided, but I just didn't want to waste any of the pages. And there's a Gryffindor die cut that I've got that I absolutely love. There's the pumpkin and spice beer, nitro pumpkin butter. Some of these pockets are empty because I still want to play around in these. The adventure begins. These, it's amazing how these little cards just fit in these bags. It just sort of worked out that way. There's another piece of ephemera from Dreamz EtCetera kit. Leaky cauldron, butter brew. This is just a little plastic bag, paper bag that I put in. A little pocket there. This is some of her kit. The ones. So lots of tea stain paper in here, as well as the journal. And there's the some images that I found that I printed on the vellum paper. Love this. This is the Weasley grandfather clock. I had to get that in. There's Babbitty Rabbit on the back there, which Ron Weasley talks about his mum reading him the stories of Babbitty Rabbit. Little bag that I turned into a pocket. It's actually my local coffee place. It's one of their bags that the coffee grinds come in, and it's coated in plastic. And I'd used up all my envelopes and all my paper bags, and I was looking for whatever I could use. So I thought, I wonder if that'll work, and it's worked out so well. I'll be doing that again. In fact, I bought some coffee today, and half the reason I bought the coffee was for the paper bag. Yes, I'm sad. Dobby again, and that's the middle of the signature with a couple of the charms here. 9 3/4. I hope the light's okay. I can see that it's giving a bit of a shine. That's some digital printing. There's Professor Snape. Love him. He's my favourite character. And there's the one of the chess pieces from the Philosopher's Stone, the first movie. That's the other half of that coffee bag, and in there I've just put some cards in there. I got so much Harry Potter stuff left. Look at this. This is stuff that I didn't end up using. I've got all of that, plus heaps of others all over the place. And there's all the different Patronuses. I printed that out in vellum. I thought that gave it quite a good sort of eerie, ghosty look. Magical look, really, I guess. There's the Cornish pixies, which I love. Poking, blowing a raspberry. Cheeky little monkeys they are. Love that image. That is actually in the Harry Potter movie. When I was watching it on the weekend, I saw that. So that is actually directly out of the Harry Potter movie, but I got that on Pinterest. I got this from Etsy. I was trying to find this public domain image back here, and I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at the time, so I ended up, for a couple of dollars, I think I bought that. So I will try colouring that in, but then I did end up finding that actual image, which I was really pleased about. Some stenciling that I did back there. Love this. And there's Hermione paper clip to go with it. She's got her time turner, and then she's got a little wand charm. I thought how appropriate to put that on her page. And there's a dreadlock man. Hogwarts Castle. Dumbledore, yay! And there's some information on Harry Potter and the Firebolt, and just a bit more information, introduction to Quidditch. I think we're getting there. There's some owl paper that I had floating around, so I thought I'll put that in. Shrieky Spout. There's actually, there's Harry. If you look in Jen's video, she tells you the story about that isn't actually, I think they call it a parlour card, and that's an 18th century card. Okay, so here we have, this was out of the book that I got, Ministry of Magic, and it's like a memorandum, which I thought was rather cute. This, I think I might have got this from Pinterest, Regeneration of the Phoenix. This one here was actually some fruit packaging. It was some apples that I bought, and I just loved how they had the little acetate window, and I'm really pleased with how this came out. You can see Harry there, and I've just used some washi tape as the border there. And then on the other side, I just had some of this fabric, which I picked up in an op shop, and I didn't have very much of it, so it's rather precious. And I've just backed it, and I've just put a little bit of black lace, and then there's some washi, I don't know if you can see that there, but there's some black washi tape around the edge. There's an empty pocket there for me to fill in later. This is some tea dye paper, and I did these rings myself, so I'm really experimenting and getting into the grungy sort of paper look. This is one of the Ivy Shutter papers that was really, really dark, and this was my way of lightening up a little bit. I just got a stencil that I had, and I just, just added some texture paste to it, and I think it works really well. Oh, this is one of my favourite pages here. This is actually a vintage postcard that I've had in my stash, and I thought it went really well. It sort of reminded me of Hogwarts, one of the rooms in Hogwarts. I was going to glue it in, and then I turned it over, and I found this absolutely gorgeous writing. I'm fairly certain it's German, and I can't even read the date of it, but I would say, hazard to guess that this is really, really old, probably early 1900s. So yeah, I was absolutely chuffed. And this is a free digital download that somebody, I think it was on Junk Journal Down Under group, posted, and so I thought that went really well as a background there on that one there. And this is a key paperclip that I've had in my drawer just kicking around, and I always thought, I've got to find somewhere special to put that. So here you go, it belongs here in my Harry Potter journal. And this is again inspiration from Dreamz EtCetera. I just love how she did this, so it gives you the impression of the turning staircases in Hogwarts. And there's the middle of the, this is the last signature here, couple of little charms here, mischief managed, and I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. And then this is just a cover, the advanced potion making that I found off Pinterest. And that was a bit of a mistake again, but I'll work on that, and I've actually got some text pages that I will turn that into a little textbook. I think we're coming to the end. It's another Ivy Shutters page. This is another one of the Mrs. Coggs embellished paper clips, Professor Snape. I want to do a spread of Professor Snape for sure, and it's going to be around this part of the journal, so this is, I'll put that on later. Okay. Yeah, so I've left a few pages blank because I've got some plans. There's the other part of that fruit packaging. Yeah, I know what I want to do here, so I'll probably do a video of that when I get it done. And there's the lolly cart. Chocolate frog nuts. Or chocolate frogs, actually. There's Hedwig. That's from that book, Harry Potter book that I found. I love this page. That's why I've used it a few times. Oh, there's Hagrid. It's Jen's version of Hagrid. So yeah, I think we're nearly there now. And that's the last page. Okay, so what I did want to show you as well was a couple of other pages in here, because it was the Ivy Shutters pages, and it was how I dealt with them. This is the inside of Isla's cover here. So I think I marked them. Yeah, there's this one here. This one came out really dark, and that's what I did to that page there. I've been watching a few of Jen's tutorials actually, and so she does the texture paste, which a lot of people do. So I did that, but what I did was I just used some of my copper metallic wax and went over it, but then I also got some nail polish, some glitter nail polish, and I painted it over, just highlighting a few areas. So I thought that turned out really well. And then the other page that I did was this one here. So just in the dark areas, I just got a stencil out and I just used my texture paste on it. So I thought that highlighted it and lifted it quite well. So that's the end of my Harry Potter video. If you've stuck with me through the end, thank you very much. I'll try and be a little bit more regular now with my videos. I've had a few things going on obviously in the last month, as we do the last few months, but yeah, I'll post about that. So thank you for watching. Appreciate the views, and I'll see you next time. Bye.